I'm going to show you how misinformation works by using a very short example. Here's Britain's Andrew Marr. He's a person I used to admire a lot. He received his honorary doctorate from the same university as me on the same day I received my master's degree. So his descendants into a tool of Western narratives, if that's what it was, is doubly disappointing to me. He's misinforming us about China, and he's doing so in a way that, unless we're listening carefully, we wouldn't even notice we're being subliminally influenced into a school of thought. We're being driven down a narrative pathway into believing China is bad. Here's how it's done. First of all, listen carefully to his words in this short 50-second clip from a much longer show about the effects of DeepSeek on the global AI situation.
Titans of California clustered around President Trump, who think of themselves as the disruptors of our world, have suddenly themselves been disrupted. Investors panicked. Around £560 billion was wiped off US high-tech companies in reaction to the news. And for context, that is about twice Britain's entire social security budget. And among the companies most affected were the US chipmaker Nvidia, Alphabet, Microsoft, and also Amazon, Meta, and Tesla. Now, the markets may well correct and recover.
Now, the markets may well correct and recover, he said. This is an underhanded way of telling people that the markets are being manipulated by others. They may correct indicates that what's happening to the market is an aberration. It isn't. DeepSeek really has disrupted the markets, and they will not correct, because to correct is an indication that something is wrong. They might well recover, but that's because people will get over what's happened and either adapt to the changes or accept the changes. Time will tell if they do, but my guess, which is as good as yours, is that markets will be corrected rather than correct. Stock buybacks will inflate prices to where they once were, and again the market will survive with even more bloating rather than real value.
But people are calling this a Sputnik moment, like the Soviet leap forward into space in 1957.
He goes on to say, people are calling this a Sputnik moment, like the Soviet leap into space in 1957, and indeed they are. But what he isn't telling us is that the Soviets didn't leap into space ahead of the USA. They were already far advanced, and either the US didn't know it, or they lied to cover it up. And the fact that the Soviets not only put the first satellite up, they put the first animal, the first human, as well as conducted the first spacewalk. They also landed the first probe on the moon. They put the first woman into space, and they landed the first ever remotely controlled moonwalker on the surface there too. And that proved the US wrong when they said the Soviet Union was backward. This is why DeepSeek is another moment like this. It isn't showing that China has leapfrogged the USA. It's showing that the USA is lying to us, not just about their own technology, but also about China's advancements. Xiaohongshu is another such moment, and that's the second this year. Yet January isn't even over yet. Wait until the world learns about Alibaba's Qwen or Quen, the third Sputnik moment of the year. This one outperforms all the AIs on the market, including DeepSeek, but that's another story.
And here in Britain, Far Eastern competitors have already taken out our motorcycle industry, much of the car industry, and so on.
The final part of misinformation in this 50-second clip is this. And here in Britain, Far Eastern competitors have taken out our motorcycle industry, much of the car industry, and so on. I'll be happy if anyone can give me the brand name of a motorcycle from China that helped to take out Triumph, BSA, Norton, or any other British bike that we can think of. Certainly BMW, Ducati, and Moto Guzzi, they're European, not Far Eastern. Let's try and think of a Chinese brand that is. Yamaha, Suzuki, Honda, Kawasaki? Nope. Not one of these bikes easily purchased in the UK is Chinese. They're all Japanese. And that use of the words Far Eastern in a story about China might escape the attention of many, but is designed specifically to prove to us that there's a threat from the East, we all know that China is what he would like us to be thinking of when he says it. So when Andrew Marr tells us anything about China, or any other topic for that matter, we need to listen very carefully to his words, not because his words are lies, but because they are cleverly used to misdirect us down a path that narrative followers would like us to take. Words matter, and no one knows this better than the people who want us to think one thing when something else is true. And that's pretty much everything we ever learnt about China. Something else is true when they're telling us one thing. See you next time.